thousands of targets of the terrorist regime, will create the conditions for the brave people of Iran to free themselves from the chains of tyranny. And for this reason, I address you once again, O the citizens of Iran, do not let this opportunity slip away. This is an opportunity that comes only once in every generation. Do not sit idle because your moment will arrive soon. The moment when you must take to the streets, come to the streets in your millions to finish the job, to overthrow the regime of terror that has embittered your lives. Well, Iran's Islamic Republic of Iran is broadcasting reported that American and Israeli forces.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to intensify airstrikes on Tehran in the coming days. He says that the Israeli military had mobilized its full strength in the campaign against Iran. In a video statement, Netanyahu said that Israeli forces are now striking at the heart of Tehran with intense power. Netanyahu claimed that these attacks were to ensure Israel's existence and our future. However, Netanyahu also addressed the recent casualties in Israel, offering condolences to the families of those who lost their lives in the city of Beit Shemesh. At least 9 people were killed there, making it the deadliest strike in Israel since the war began. Netanyahu said that these were painful days. He also wished a speedy recovery to the people who had been injured in the missile strike.
We have some breaking news coming in. Israeli army has announced that for the first time as part of Operation Roar of the Lion, IDF has begun striking targets of the Iranian regime in the heart of Tehran. In a post on X, the military said the Air Force, guided by military intelligence, has now launched a broad wave of strikes towards Tehran. It also added that over the past day, the Air Force has conducted extensive strikes to achieve air superiority and open the path to Tehran. Now, the Israeli military, we have the breaking news that is coming in. The Israeli military says it has struck the heart of Tehran for the first time since the latest US-Israeli attacks has started. The statement published claimed the targets were the government sites, adding that over the past day, the attacks were working on establishing aerial superiority and paving the path to Tehran. We have breaking news that is coming in. And Israeli army has announced that for the first time, as part of the Operation Roar of the Lion, IDF has begun striking targets of the Iranian regime in the heart of Tehran. In a post on X, the military said the Air Force, guided by military intelligence, has now launched a broad wave of strikes towards Tehran. In another breaking news, in Pakistan, at least 8 people were reportedly killed in a pro-Iran protest at a US consulate. Reports citing a rescue service said that the deaths happened after hundreds of pro-Iranian protesters tried to storm the consulate in Karachi. A spokesman from the EDHI Foundation Rescue Service claimed that they have moved at least 8 dead bodies to Karachi's civil hospitals, where 20 others were injured in the consulate incident. He added that most had bullet wounds. Well, in Pakistan, at least 9 people were reportedly killed in a pro-Iranian protest at a US consulate. Now, reports citing a rescue service said that the deaths happened after hundreds of pro-Iranian protesters tried to storm the consulate in Karachi. A spokesman from the EDHI Foundation Rescue Service claimed that they have moved at least 9 dead bodies to Karachi civil hospitals, while more people were injured in the consulate incident. He added that most had bullet wounds. Now, videos on social media showed people climbing over the main gate and gaining access to the driveway of the consular building. The American flag could be seen flying over the compound. Police fired tear gas at the protesters, who dispersed. And for more on this, we are now being joined by Dr. Mir Javed Anfar, lecturer of Iranian politics at Richmond University in Israel, West Asia analyst and co-author of The Nuclear Sphinx of Tehran. Well, Dr. Mir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Doctor, as you're joining us from Tel Aviv, can you describe what the situation is like on the ground right now? What are you looking at in terms of the overall atmosphere in the city?
Well, since yesterday, there have been sirens going off every 3 hours or sometimes every 2 hours. Last night, we had about 2 attacks, at least, that were directed at Tel Aviv. All of them were with missiles. Israel's been subjected to mostly missile attacks. Some of them are drones. But the public is abiding by the laws of the Home Front Command, and people are going down to shelters. Every Israeli home, every Israeli building is, according to law, must have bomb shelters. So people are congregating in the bomb shelters. Schools are closed, universities are closed. The public cannot congregate in areas with more than 10 people, if that. We are in war, but today is also a historic day because one of the biggest enemies of the state of Israel, probably the biggest enemy, was killed yesterday by Israeli pilots. It's basically just guesses at this point. There are some names that are out there, but to be honest with you, I really don't have any credible sources to back them. But there are some people who believe that maybe it will be his son, again not clear, or Ayatollah Rouhani, Mr. Hassan Rouhani, who was the former president, but he has a lot of enemies within the regime because he was seen as being too moderate. We really don't know. We are in the dark, and this is what the regime intended. The regime intended to keep the whole process behind closed doors and top secret. They did not want to name a successor, and this is one of the consequences. Who is going to be the successor? Does he have the same pool within the regime? Does he have the same level of influence? Does he have the same level of backing? We simply do not know in the Iran studies world.
Right, Dr. Mir, we're already seeing strong and sharply divided reactions from around the world on the news of Khomeini's death. How do you see this playing out in the coming days? Are we likely to witness unrest, consolidation of power, or, when we are going to see the transition that is to happen today?
Well, outside of Iran, some Shia communities, as you said, in inflation. In terms of consolidation, they will be looking to consolidate the regime from within after his death. How much of the objective has been achieved from Israel's point of view? If you can let us know. Well, part of the objective is to eliminate the threats posed by Iran's missile program, missile production. We don't know how many sites have been bombed yet by Israel. I don't have enough information to give you that. Ayatollah Khamenei's death, yes, Israel killed Ayatollah Khamenei, but we have to wait and see whether this will lead to regime change, because this is what Israel wants. And Israel knows most Iranians want regime change in Iran. And for many Israelis, this is a historic day also because Ayatollah Khamenei is responsible for the death of the highest number of Jews since the Holocaust. Because since 1991, Ayatollah Khamenei declared proxy war against the state of Israel. The forehead and the arms of those who planned this attack should be kissed in praise. So this was one of Israel's most ardent enemies, and the fact that he's no longer there will make yesterday a historic day in the modern history of the state of Israel and Iran. And I'm an Iranian Israeli, so this is particularly a very notable time.
Right, Doctor. And just now, recently, we just heard about the reports of Israel attacking the heart of Tehran. What is your assessment of the span that this war will endure?
That's a great question for which I have absolutely no answer, to be quite honest to you and your respected viewers. Some people say weeks, some people say months. It really depends what happens. It really depends if there are signs within the regime that there is going to be a crack among the leadership, and if there's going to be a revolution, or if there's going to be somebody who's going to completely change the direction of the Islamic Republic. These are all factors these are all moving variables that at this point cannot be ascertained in any way, shape or form, especially because of the fact that the war only started yesterday. So I unfortunately cannot give you an informed answer on this, but we have to wait and see what happens. I think the choice of the next leadership of Iran, the policies that Iran follows after Khamenei, and how successful Israel and America are in destroying what remains of Iran's nuclear program and its missile program will play an important part in determining the end date for this process. So will signals from Tehran. I think the Iranians would start looking for the Russians, especially, to start mediating a ceasefire soon. And I think we have to wait and see what the conditions of those mediation efforts will be.
Right, Doctor. And just, we haven't heard anything on the key issues of the nuclear program and facilities being dismantled. Now, what is the report around that, and what is your view on the same?
Well, for Israel, the most important issue is the missiles, because most of the nuclear program has been destroyed in Iran from the June 12th war. There are something like 400 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium that is under the rubble, and I think that is probably the most important issue. But most of the nuclear program has been destroyed. It's the missile program of Iran that is the most important issue, because the Iranians are planning to open up a new production line, and the number of missiles that they could produce and to fire in Israel would have made it very difficult to shoot down. And look, from yesterday, they fired 170 missiles, and thankfully we were able to shoot down most of them. A couple got through. But, if they open up production lines, which they plan to do by the end of this year, they will be able to fire double that number at us in a future war. And it will be far more difficult to shoot those numbers down. So this is the most important issue for Israel. It's the missile production capabilities. Israel did not have enough time to destroy them during the last war. So we have to wait and see how successful Israel is in destroying what remains of Iran's missile production capabilities.
Right, Doctor. And, with these developments, with the information that we are getting so far, how do you see the balance which is changing in West Asia?